Well, we got some updates, some recruiting updates. That include Elijah Haven, Keshan Bowman, and Jaden Bryant. You talked a little bit about Elijah Haven a little while ago,
Yeah.
and you said that Alabama's looking to get him despite having Bowman. They're kind of like, no, we're stocking up on quarterback. We're making sure we've got things rolling.
Yep. Like I mentioned it, and you said it. You said it best. Alabama's trying to stock up on quarterbacks because you never know nowadays. And I know that he's a junior, but Alabama really likes him. I know that Haven had interest in Alabama. Similar to Seaborn, they really started pushing for him, this fall. I don't think during the summer that Haven was a guy that Alabama likely saw coming, and committing, and being a part of the 27 class. But obviously things have changed. He's a guy that is from Louisiana. I read something saying, Jackson, that he's 6 minutes or 6 miles or something away from LSU's campus, which I thought was crazy. I know that he grew up, liking and going to LSU games, obviously, in Baton Rouge, but Alabama's able to get him on campus. I know he's coming back for the LSU game, so that's only an even better sign, of us of Alabama potentially getting his commitment. He was really high on Florida and LSU, but obviously Billy Napier being fired at Florida, didn't help the Gators' chances there. The unknown of the coaching situation, as well as LSU. Garrett Nussmeier hasn't looked, how many people thought he would end up looking. And I think that's something that kind of makes him and his dad, kind of skeptical on that front. Quarterbacks aren't being developed, like a lot of people thought they would at LSU, and this is a kid that's got a great arm. He won a state championship last year at Dunham School. But Alabama's pushing for him. Got him on campus for the Tennessee game, getting him back on campus for the LSU game. I was also, informed that Alabama even let him, like, he knew, his family knew that Seaborn was going to commit. Like, that's coaching staff let him know, and he got back home. Did interviews with people and stuff, and the interest is there. Obviously, when people put in crystal balls and RPMs and stuff like that, they're not just throwing it out there. Like, they have some intel, they have some information that inclines them to think that this is going to happen pretty soon. It isn't, that's not stuff that you sit and just, okay, 4 months later, Haven commits. Like, that's stuff that you see or envision, happening pretty soon. So I think that this could happen pretty soon. I think that Haven set a commitment date or has one in mind. I'm not sure on that. I'll have to double check.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, he
I
wants
know.
to do it on New Year's Day, I think,
Yeah,
or
New Year's.
2026. Oh my,
Okay, okay.
oh my
Well,
god, oh
it's
man.
it's it might be a few months, but I would also be willing to bet, that he knows, like, he's going to know relatively soon where he's going. Like you said, it's just one of those things where kids wait, because that's happened in the past a lot. And I mean, you just see right there, you see what he's able to do. You got him and Seaborn in the same class. I think Alabama can hold on to him. I know that sounds crazy in the world of NIL and the quarterback situation being the way that it is, but let's say, for instance, Jackson, that Ty, let's say for instance he were to come back, because I've heard some ramblings that, he might consider coming back. But obviously he's regarded as one of the top quarterback prospects. Um, you know, if he does come back, that's a year where, you know, likely, in all likelihood, Russell or Mack will transfer, and then you have Tamala and Kawa. And that next year, after Ty graduates, it would likely be a competition between Haven, Tamala, and Seaborn. And, could you imagine a three-way quarterback competition between Tamala, who is like, has a strong arm, one of the most prolific passers in the 26 class, Alabama's coaching staff loves, and then you got two other guys that they love in Seaborn and Haven. If they were able to get those three on campus, and those three were to battle it out for the starting quarterback position, I think Alabama would be set for years. I think these are guys that are elite. I think they are at an elite level. And this coaching staff's just done a tremendous job. But I like where Alabama sits for Haven for sure.
Oh, so do I. Like, I think it's gonna be awesome seeing our quarterback room from 2025 and beyond. Like, because it was like 2024, that was a one-off year. Like the rest of the 2020s decades, I'm excited about. Like, I'm excited about where they're heading, for us. And also, I believe Alabama made an offer, and I read this correctly on your website from Crimson Coverage, that they offered to Keshan Bowman.
Yep.
I,
Uh,
he's from Brentwood, correct?
Brentwood Academy, that's correct.
Oh, nice.
That was a school that I believe George McIntyre played at, the current quarterback at Tennessee. I know that Brentwood Academy is one of those powerhouse schools up there in Nashville, Tennessee. I know they got several schools up in that area, but Keyshawn Bowman is a kid that committed to Oregon pretty early on. He has a long list of suitors. He has over 40 offers, looking at it right now. And Alabama's obviously, had success, recruiting receivers in this class. You look at Sadarian Morgan, Owen Cabell, who's from that Nashville area as well. And then obviously Brian Williams Jr. But I think that Alabama's really going to go full head of steam in that class, because, you know, you're likely going to lose Ryan Williams his junior year. Jalen Hale, Cole Adams, guys like that would be gone. Isaiah Horton, if he decided to return, he would be gone. So looking for those blue chip guys, and you got a guy like Keyshawn Bowman who's 6'1", 174. He's a playmaker. Out there on the perimeter, plays against big schools, and Alabama obviously extended him an offer. Obviously they're going to keep in touch very closely with him with how many suitors he has, but I'll be probably looking to get an interview with him, pretty soon, over there on Crimson Coverage. I know a lot of recruits are busy this time of year with their seasons and playoff coming up, so be looking for that. But I know that Alabama really loves Bowman, and we'll see where things go from him. But obviously his recruiting process is something that would seem like it's just starting with Alabama, but I know that Alabama has had their eyes on him. I know they've been up in that Nashville area to watch Cabell, and I'm sure, if I'm not mistaken, Brentwood and the school that Cabell plays for, Christ Presbyterian Academy, I'm pretty sure that they play each other, or they're in the same area. So I know that Jamarcus Shepard and the coaching staffs kept a close eye on Bowman. I can't hear you. Is it my computer? Are you on mute, Jackson? I can't hear nothing.
Oh, I'm on mute. My bad.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
I
it
was
was me,
on mute.
man.
Yeah, I was like, if you do meet him, or well, when you do meet him, you'll have to ask him about how is he able to keep his toes in balance on display, because that's got me impressed.
He
Um,
he's a stud, man. He's also a guy. I didn't point this out. He runs track too, and he ran an 11.59 in the 100 meter.
oof.
So he can absolutely fly. And he reopened his recruitment. Alabama. There's been several schools that have offered him recently. Um, he can Alabama or two of those. Obviously Tennessee's on that list of potential suitors, but
Yeah, he's not going there.
Jamarcus Shepard. Well, uh, who knows, man? You know, you would think that most kids would pick Alabama, especially with Jamarcus Shepard, and we saw what Alabama's receivers were able to do the other day. But hey, I mean, everyone entitled to their own opinion, man. But
That's right.
I definitely think that Jamarcus Shepard and the Alabama coaching staff, they'll definitely try to get him on campus and multiple times and see where things go.
Oh, here we go. And we've got Mr. Jaden Bryant for the recruiting update, and I believe he was offered as well.
Yep, Jaden Bryant's a kid that's actually from the state of South Carolina, from Irmo High School, which is in Columbia. So he's not far from South Carolina's campus. A guy that's really risen up or really seen a rise in his recruiting ranking. A guy that I talked to several months ago during the summer, I believe it was, and he had not, had an offer from Alabama. He said that he hadn't really talked to Alabama's coaching staff very much during the summer, but Alabama seen something that they really like. This guy is, he's 6'4",
Oh,
50 plus pounds. And he obviously you can see there he's running sideline to sideline, and for an edge rusher, you know that's that's definitely something that stands out. Can play inside or outside, but Alabama's a guy that he's a guy that Alabama really likes. Brought him on campus, and I saw a picture of him with several of the 26 class Alabama commits throwing up Lank and whatnot, but he's a guy that's from South Carolina. South Carolina will, they'll put a full court press on him, but I know that Alabama likes guys that can play multiple positions across the defensive line. That's something that Kane Womack looks for when he's recruiting these defensive linemen. And Jaden Bryant's a guy that fits that mold. So, it'll be interesting to see how things unfold there. But as a sophomore in high school, Jason, as a sophomore in high school, I'm reading this. A defensive lineman, Jaden Bryant had 92 tackles, 26 tackles for loss, 18 and a half sacks, four forced fumbles as a sophomore in high school. So, obviously there's a reason that Alabama's pursuing him, and we'll see if Alabama can get him on campus. Here in the fall again, but definitely expect his name to be brought up a lot. In the spring for sure. A guy that Alabama really likes in that 2027 class.
oh, no doubt. Like, cause I'm getting inside just looking at him, and he's just putting a scare and keeps. Oh, he put a scare in that room, and he's like, you're in my house now. I'm the
Yep.
captain now. I'm the
Yep.
captain now.
And that's the thing too is he's 245, 255, somewhere in that range, and he's moving and making plays like he is. I mean, you got a good player when you see a defensive lineman that can play inside at that size and make plays like he is, as physical as he is, and that's something that Alabama has caught on to, and they're picking up steam in his recruitment, I believe for sure.
Oh man, like it's looking like, oh man, I'd hate to get on
Clemson
his bad side.
Clemson offered him yesterday. I do know that, and obviously South Carolina. But both those programs are struggling. Not sure what the coaching staff, especially the assistants, will look like. Defensive line coaches or defensive coaching staff, what that'll look like. But I know that Alabama's got a lot of good players up front. But Freddie Roach and Kane Womack are always looking to add. And I know this guy's a 2027 guy, but he flashes athleticism, physicality, can run sideline to sideline, and that's rare for a defensive lineman, a guy that has his kind of motor. So it'll be interesting to see, how his recruitment continues to go in the months ahead.
No doubt about that. And it's like last before we get to this final topic to end the show, I'm just like, if we can get him, that'd be a huge win. Because like, if he wants to win, come to Bama. Because you're not going to be able to win at Clemson anymore. This isn't 2016, 18. I mean, that Dabo Sweeney era now is basically the Bobby Bowden era from 2001 to 2009. Because it wasn't like
Yeah.
when Florida State was dominating the AC, everybody was scared. It was in the years where Florida State won the AC from 2001, 2009, it wasn't really that impressive. I feel like it's the same way with Clemson from 2021 to now. I mean, 2022,
Yeah,
nobody was impressed. 2024, I mean, Sean Madonna threw out his puberty voice over a game-winning field goal against SMU in the AC title game, but they couldn't win a
exactly.
playoff game.
Yeah, exactly. They lost to Texas, and like you said, that ACC title was kind of a. I mean, it was kind of a fluke in my opinion. Obviously Clemson's not the same Clemson that they used to be ever since, Brent Venables left. It's not been their defense just hasn't been the same. So, it'll be interesting to see how things unfold in Clemson because fans aren't happy, and I'm sure there's some people inside the building, especially the people that ultimately make the decisions that aren't happy with Dabo Swinney. They haven't been for quite a while. So you lose a game, this past weekend, and it's just you lose to SMU, you lose to Syracuse, and it's getting ugly in Clemson, so it'll be interesting to see how things go there, especially the fact that you're also struggling in the ACC, which is not a power conference, as
Yeah.
opposed to the Big Ten or the SEC. So
I mean, like Syracuse blasted you to Kingdom Come, but that was the
yeah,
thing. In your own backyard. That's a bad look right there.
yeah, Syracuse and SMU at home. Yeah, that, like you said, 2020 and before that, Clemson would have never lost them kind of games. They would blow them out. But nowadays it's just not the same Clemson.
Oh, no doubt about that.